types of shares tend to be fairly cyclical. Really what you buy here is an expectation of a future and the ability to deliver in that future, as well as an interesting present, good execution, etc. But you're really discounting the future, and it's a barometer of optimism. When you're more optimistic about the future, you'll pay up and be more excited. When you're less optimistic about the future, well, you do things like what we've seen so far in 2016, which has more or less involved a 13% slide in the NASDAQ.
Do you think that this is really, if you look at the bigger picture, this is overall a valuation call as far as how the economy is doing, and then how stocks are doing as well, obviously, in the tech area?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I think we see a couple of things come together at the same time. It makes it kind of hard to make the call, and it makes it a treacherous moment of late in the market. What that is we had this unusually long period of unusually cheap interest rates, which made it more fun, more easy, much cheaper and less dangerous to speculate writ large, whether that was housing or commodities or anything else, including tech stocks. So that kind of came to an end symbolically, at least began to end when the Federal Reserve started normalizing rates. So that's one. Two, the macroeconomy. We were 6 years into a recovery, even if it didn't feel that way for everybody. That's long. That's longer than the average recovery. And this looks a little bit long in the tooth. It looks like it was kind of almost kind of coming to an end anyway. And add on top of that, tech had done unbelievably well. People got really, really optimistic. In the last 7 or 8 years, people have really looked to tech to grow and to change the future and change our lives. That always creates a little bit of froth. If all those various sort of supports come off more or less close in time, then you get a real tumultuous moment.
But you look at some of these companies, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Alphabet, these are companies that led the NASDAQ higher and now clearly are leading it lower. But, I mean, if you've got a strong stomach, do you recommend this as a buying opportunity?
Yeah, look, there's always a lot of babies in the bathwater when people suddenly realize there's risk. That being said, things were overbought, so it's not just a panic. Things were a little too expensive before. That being said, look, Amazon seems to be more or less in charge of American e-commerce for the foreseeable future, and our lives are moving online and our purchases are moving online. So long-term, hard not to like them, even if they're not super cheap even now. Google has these incredible moonshot projects, are executing very well. Hard not to see them as huge in the future. I think Facebook, too, has got a pretty bright future, is going to make more money than ever probably as it monetizes Instagram and starts monetizing WhatsApp. So yeah, I mean, I do think Netflix might come under a little more valuation pressure than some of the others, particularly as Amazon competes with them with Amazon Prime, etc. But yeah, long term, these companies are going to be titans of global industry next year and the year after.